Right, hi Year 10s. This is a video for you guys. This is about redox. If you look on your target sheet, I think it's 2.20, talks about what oxidation and reduction is. And you probably know about that in terms of loss of oxygen being reduction or gain of oxygen being oxidation. But we also need to think about this in terms of gaining or losing electrons. And I briefly mentioned this to a few of you, oil rig, but we're going to talk about that after I've shown you a couple of demos. One of my favourite demos is this one here. I've got some sodium and it's here on a brick. And what we're going to do is we're going to heat this sodium, okay, and then we're going to react it with chlorine. Now notice there's no oxygen involved in this reaction at all. There will be to start with. You'll notice the sodium will start to react as I heat it. I need to heat it to give it a bit of activation energy, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to heat the sodium now, and you might notice, I'll just turn the lights off just to make it a little bit more dramatic. So I'm going to heat the sodium, and you're going to notice it's going to melt, obviously, and you might notice it's starting to actually burn in oxygen, which is what it's actually doing now. It's burning. But if I now quickly put it in chlorine, oh look, quickly, there's a big reaction occurring. Now, this is now the sodium reacting with the chlorine. And it's obviously forming sodium chloride. It's still reacting away. And this isn't combustion because it's now reacting with chlorine, but the reaction is still going on. And it's forming sodium chloride. So we'd expect to see some white sort of solid once it's finished. It's doing very, very well. You can see a sort of white solid there reacting away with it. It's still reacting even though there's no oxygen there. And we'll just let that go out. I'll actually take it away. You'll probably see it now. Now it's reacting now a bit more with oxygen. You can see the white solid. Oh, now you can see it reacting with some oxygen now as well. And you can see there around the outside there, we've got some white salt that's been formed. Now, let's just go over to the board and let's talk about what's happened in terms of electrons. So over here, Queenie's just following me to the board. We've already written up the equation here. What we've done is we've reacted sodium with chlorine. I've just gone for half Cl2. You can't write chlorine down as Cl because it's diatomic. It's forming sodium chloride. And so that's the equation for the reaction that we've just done. Now sodium metal, you should be able to work out from your periodic table, has an electronic structure of 281. And what's going on here is ionic bonding. So the sodium is losing an electron to become an Na plus ion. And now it has an electronic structure of 2,8. So notice it's lost an electron. Now, when you lose electrons in chemistry, that's known as oxidation as well, not just when you're reacting with oxygen. Here we're reacting with chlorine, there's no oxygen at all. And notice the chlorine, this was in a diatomic molecule, but both the chlorines were 287, and they turned to the chloride ion in ionic bonding. Just to sort of make that point, if we're going to do a dot product diagram, we would have Na, here's the chlorine, and what's basically going on is this, and we're forming sodium chloride, and the dot cross diagram, we would just remember to put in the charges there around square brackets and where it's gone in. In fact, I've done it slightly the wrong way around, but it doesn't really matter. Here we go there, and actually the crosses actually should have gone there. Notice that the chlorine has effectively gained an electron. Now that's called reduction. So sometimes in chemistry you might not have oxygen involved at all. And we have a little mnemonic, it's called an oil rig. And you can probably work out what that means. It means oxidation is loss, reduction is gain of electrons.